Hi everybody, my name is Elizabeth Deneen and I'm going to be going through one of the tools that we have in Daylight, and that is the Quiz Statistics tool. I learned about this tool during the Intro to Data Analysis PLC and I love it. I've been using it with every module since we started the course, so I wanted to go through some ways that I use it in my personal experiences with it. So first is where we can find the quiz statistics tool, and that would be if you are in your assessments tab, you click on quizzes, and when you are in all of your quiz categories, you can select on the specific quiz that you want to check, and you hit the statistics button like you see below. This specific quiz, my Module 8 quiz, was a red flag for me, and I wanted to show you what I did and the steps I took to intervene with the students after I saw some poor results. So I'm going to take you into my class now, and again, we're going in the quizzes tab, and when I'm in my quizzes, I want to hit that downward facing arrow and click on the statistics button. Now, we have three tabs in this tool. The first one, I'm actually going to just show you the very top of it, because when you scroll below, you see your students' names, and we can't do that here. So just know that this tool is for two things. The first one is this chart that we see, and if I just hover my arrow over each of these little bars, I'm going to be able to see the number of users, or the percentage of my class that falls between a 5% range. So just really quickly, having this available lets me have a quick snapshot of what happened on my quiz. Then you can scroll down and you can see what every student earned on this quiz. And then this bar right here is just my class average. So I was really disappointed with the class average when I saw this, and it was really interesting because this just so happened to be at about the same time we were learning about this in our course. So I was able to turn around and use this information immediately and come up with some sort of remediation for my students. So the next tab is our question stats, and this is the bird eye view of what happened on this quiz. This does not have any student information, so we're going to go down. My grammar quizzes are broken up into two parts. The first part is one grammar concept we learned, and then the second part is another grammar concept we learned. So what I can do here is just, again, a bird's eye view of what happened on part one. I'm going through and just kind of seeing really quickly how my students did on every single question. And then you see this quiz B has 12 questions, and we are all over the board here. Some did really well on certain questions, and then others performed so poorly on other questions. So I wanted to show you really quickly how you can check for errors. This one, 18.92%. So just under 19% of my students got this right, and that is a big problem. So I can click on this question and see what it looks like for the students taking the quiz. So when taking the quiz, it would appear as this. It shows me exactly what the question looks like for the students. And then when I'm going through the grades, I see how it should look for me. I just do a really quick check here. Do I have any spelling mistakes? Because that's important in Spanish. It could perhaps change the answer. Am I missing something? No, this is all correct. So now I've got to go through my content, and I've got to go through my jigsaw session. Is this just not something that was brought up before the quiz? So I'm going to use this as my red flag to see if I somehow did not teach this well enough for the students. It's just going to be something that now I know I need to identify moving forward with them. And I do the same thing here. Random question 8, they didn't perform very well. So I take a look at it. I want to check, do I have any mistakes? No. Again, this this specific grammar they didn't perform well on. So I need to now figure out what I'm going to do to change that. The next tab is the question details. This is the most in-depth look when we're looking on this quiz statistics tool. It gives me the question, and it also gives me the options that the students had. This specific quiz was a fill-in-the-blank quiz, so there's only, if you look on this first option, this is the correct answer that they had to fill in, and anything else that they wrote is listed under the other category. So the correct answer, just about 73% of the students got it right. 27% of the students answered something else. Okay, so that's pretty self-explanatory if you just take a quick look at it. So I'm going through, this one's not so bad. I'm not too upset here, but again, my quiz that was all over the place was this one. And what I want to do is really quickly analyze it. And I actually have edited and annotated. So the top is the correct answer, and the bottom shows how many people answered incorrectly. And what I've noticing, sorry, we're going to go back to the page. What I'm noticing is that there's this specific grammar concept. It's like this irregular verb that they're missing. And I want to make sure that I do some sort of interventions, remediation opportunities for the students. How do I drill this in before they take the chapter test? So I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint and just show you really quickly, again, what I found, how I perceive the data, and then how I move forward. So the stats that were in this classroom, question 8 and question 10, after going through and clicking on them, I found out that those were the irregular verbs that they were missing. So I did 3 things in my classroom in the following week leading up to the chapter test. The first one was I sent an extra learning opportunity for the students. I was so upset, and I'm sure they were too, about the quiz grades, that I actually thought this is an opportunity that they can relearn the information and submit an extra learning opportunity so that we can prepare ourselves better for the chapter test. So there was an extra learning opportunity, and I sent them a few links to practice on some websites I found online that had great practice quizzes. The second one was I brought it up in my Jigsaw chat that following week. We had a few extra minutes, so I practiced it with them, gave them some specific sentences that they had to fill in. So I just wanted to drill it in there. And the third thing that I did was I actually found a YouTube video from another Spanish teacher, and I put that video in my homepage in the news section. So I found 3 ways that I can hit it home with them. And after those 3 different interventions, I did the same exact analysis on the quiz statistics tool with the chapter test. This information is taken from the chapter test, and where the students were getting mostly incorrect answers are now correct answers. So I was really happy to see that they went from one to the other. And the last thing I wanted to show you is you can analyze the quiz, figure out how you're going to change it, and then make sure you go back and analyze the test. Make sure that you take a look and see, did what I do with the students, did it help them? So that's the tool. Hopefully you find some similar uses or something that you can use this tool with, and I offer you the opportunity to send in any feedback, and thank you so much for viewing.